How's it going, everyone? It's Sam, Michael, Saylor, Blackrock. They're giving you 24 hours to buy some Bitcoin before they make some pretty big announcements. And actually, I'm going to be buying some MSTR tomorrow. I'm selling another asset, another crypto-related asset. So I want to walk you through it. We'll also go through some of the top news today. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this. Also, just got this in the mail. Haven't even adjusted the size yet, but Blackrock's giving you 24 hours. I felt like this was a fun hat for the year because BlackRock has continuously put pressure on investors because they've been buying massive amounts of Bitcoin very consistently, right? So just on Friday, there's a delay. So maybe it was Thursday, the first trading day of the year. They bought about $200 million worth of Bitcoin along with some of the other ETFs buying a couple hundred million. I think there are 3 different ETFs that bought over $200 million worth of Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor announced that they're buying Bitcoin as well. Again, we'll go through it. If you want to trade crypto, there's a link to Blofin underneath the video. You can get set up in just a few minutes. You don't need a KYC. You don't need a VPN to access this. And they're doing a giveaway right now where you can become a whale. The price pool is at 8,000 USDT. So as you trade more, you'll get access to these different rewards, and these are going up, to be clear. As the trading volume goes up, so do the rewards. So right now, if you're number 1, you get 2,400 USDT. If you're 4 through 10, you get 192 USDT. And there's 15 days on this, left on this. So these rewards will be going up. So definitely check this out underneath the video. Some great rewards for starting up, and that's really not the main point. The main point is to get in and leverage before some of these big announcements start taking effect and pushing the market around. Now, let's take a look at this. Well, Sui doing quite well, still at $5.20, but let's look at this. Michael Saylor, something about SaylorTracker.com does not seem quite right. So he's basically saying, hey, we're going to buy again. This is the 9th straight week. So James Van Straten says he's expecting a small Bitcoin order for the past week. The implied volatility for MSTR has been below 100 for the past 7 days, while trading volume has been relatively thin. Friday did pick up with a very strong close, over 1 million shares traded in the last 5 minutes. The time-weighted average price, or TWAP, for Bitcoin over the last 7 days, based on hourly data, is approximately 95,500. Let's see how close they got to this price. So Michael Saylor making another buy. He's been relentless. I think, like I said, they've bought for 9 weeks in a row, and they just announced last week too that they're planning to target up to $2 billion in a capital raise through public offerings of perpetual preferred stock in the first quarter of 2025. So a lot of people are kind of wondering about this, from what I can tell, and I have not experienced a lot of these types of offerings before in companies that I've been invested in. But what it looks like is they're just offering shares that are set up a little bit different. They pay dividends. So there are some entities that want these preferred stocks, these preferred dividends, and they can raise capital from them. Maybe it's pension funds, maybe it's like some kind of some institutions that don't want just shares or convertible bonds. So they're just offering to everyone to get as much Bitcoin as possible. Pretty interesting. A lot of people liking this move. And something that I've been thinking about too, I'm going to sell out of my miners and buy MSTR. MSTR's premium has come down a good amount. I think it's around 2 last time I checked. So when you're buying the company, they have about half of the market cap in Bitcoin. But I want to get rid of my miners, especially with the possibility of countries coming in, larger countries starting to mine Bitcoin. I think that's pretty much definitely going to happen if they're going to be buying Bitcoin. Let me rephrase that. They will be mining Bitcoin if they're going to be buying Bitcoin as well, because eventually it'll be really hard to get your hands on Bitcoin. So if you can take advantage of mining Bitcoin and you can, get some free power, get some free labor, essentially. We already have multiple countries that are mining Bitcoin right now. I think it makes sense for a lot of these countries to contribute to Bitcoin as well by mining. They will be mining, and they have unlimited resources. We also have a lot of these miners that have had a hard time getting back up to the prices that they were at the beginning of last year. I'm up significantly in these miners because I was buying them during the bear market or holding them. And yeah, I think with so many of these institutions coming in, trying to get their hands on Bitcoin, I think there's going to be it's going to be a lot harder for miners to make significant amounts of money. So I'm going to be selling those and investing in something like MSTR. I think MSTR is just getting started too. Right now, they're just in buying mode. They're just trying to get their hands on as much Bitcoin as possible. And I think there will be a time where there's just not a lot of Bitcoin to go around, and they'll still be buying, but they'll also be making money from the Bitcoin that they have. And maybe this is through something like a Bitcoin bank. Now, how could they do this? Well, a variety of different ways. They could be maybe helping people that need Bitcoin, right? We just got news that Mara was lending out 16% of their Bitcoin reserves. So they could do something like this to get a yield. Maybe they actually custody Bitcoin for people. I know banks have talked about that, but maybe they get a banking license and help, or whatever kind of license you need to custody Bitcoin for other individuals. So instead of buying MSTR stock, they say, hey, we want to hold 100,000 Bitcoin. You've obviously done this before. Go buy 100,000 Bitcoin for us. We'll pay a bit of a premium, and then you can custody it for us, and we'll pay you, 20 basis points or 10 basis points or 2 basis points, whatever it is. And then they make money from that. They could also take Bitcoin in from different people, and then you could get a yield on it. I know people don't like yield, but that could be a possibility down the road too. I think there's a lot of different ways that they could do this, where they could make significant amounts of money, especially after they've swallowed up as much Bitcoin as possible. They will find a way to make more cash flow at some point from the Bitcoin that they do have. So it'll be fascinating to continue to watch this, but I think miners in general are in that higher risk bucket of Bitcoin and crypto assets, which the majority of my crypto is just spot crypto. And then I trade a little bit using leverage. And then I also have some proxies. So I'll be switching up some of these miners over into MSTR. And I think they're unlocking just a lot of capital. I don't think there's going to be anyone that can catch up to them. No publicly listed company that can catch up to them. The FDIC sent out 25 letters telling banks to stop developing Bitcoin banking products like trading and custody, Bitcoin-backed loans, Bitcoin cashback rewards, Bitcoin-linked payment cards. This is pretty crazy. We talked about how there was a choke point 2.0 coming for crypto back in 2022. It seemed like all these crypto companies were getting debanked, were getting assaulted by the SEC. And this was leaked recently. The FDIC deliberately targeted and restricted the Bitcoin activities under Operation Chokepoint 2.0, new document reveals. So look at this. The office received Presidential and Chief Executive Officer blank submission on February 25th, 2022 that provided high-level information relating to the subject product. The proposed product is apparently an avenue for bank customers to engage in the crypto asset activity, specifically Bitcoin transactions through third-party management. However, at this time, the FDIC has not yet determined what, if any, regulatory filings will be necessary for a bank to engage in this type of activity. As a result, we respectfully ask that you pause all crypto asset-related activity. The FDIC will notify all FDIC-supervised banks at a later date when the determination has been made on the supervisory expectations for engaging in crypto asset-related activity, including the need for regulatory filings. So basically, any kind of company that was trying to develop these kinds of products, these fintech products, any of these banking institutions were told, we just can't have you do that yet. We don't know what we want from you, so just hold off. Does that seem innovative? Does that seem like a good place to be building products when the government just says, we don't know what we need from you, so just stop what you're doing? I mean, I think this would have been devastating to our development. This is just crazy too, because this is multiple years after a publicly listed company started buying Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So it's like they've known for years that something like this was coming. Why has it taken multiple years to get a framework down for this? This is just insane. So we'll have to continue to monitor this. We have miners that are trying to buy as much Bitcoin as possible and lending it out to get a yield. We have publicly listed companies that are going after Bitcoin. We have Blackrock and other ETFs that are buying as much Bitcoin as possible. We have possible countries coming in. So yeah, it's an exciting time. Again, if you want to trade crypto, there's a link to Blofin underneath the video just to make sure you understand the risks. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good Sunday. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.